I went in 1964, the year after my uncle was killed. I went on a trip to Poland with my father and 3 of my siblings. And at that time, Poland was a communist government, and they did not want us there. We went at the end. My father received an invitation from a human rights organization, and we went there and visited them, and the Polish government blacked out any mention of our presence in the country in all the newspapers, so the public didn't know we were there. And in fact, before we went to Poland, my mother took us shopping in Washington, D.C., the 3 older kids, to buy presents for children in a Warsaw orphanage that we were going to go visit. And we were very happy to bring all these presents to the kids and excited about it. But when we got to that orphanage, the Polish government had removed all the children so that they wouldn't have any contact with our family. 2 days later, we went to Krakow, and we went to visit the Cathedral of Blackfriars. And we were going to visit the cardinal, who was a living saint. He had stood up to the communists, he'd been tortured, he'd been jailed. His piety, his dignity, his quiet, peaceful presence had inspired a huge religious resurgence in the Catholic Church in Poland. And for us, the Catholic family, it was an enormous thrill to be able to go to meet somebody who was a living saint, who we knew after he died, he was going to be beatified by the Catholic Church, which he was. And I'll tell you just a little story that's kind of a digression. While we were waiting to see the cardinal, he was sick, and he had to prepare himself for our visit. We were brought into the kitchen by a young priest who was one of his attendants, and that priest spoke very good English. And he made us chicken sandwiches, and then he wanted to talk to us mainly about skiing. He loved skiing, and he wanted to talk about all the American ski areas. He'd never skied in our country. But 40 years later, that priest became Pope John Paul II. And so the Pope made chicken sandwiches for me. But when we came, we visited the cardinal for 2 hours, and then we were a total of about 4 hours in the sacristy, in the rectory, and in the cathedral. And when we came into the cathedral, Krakow Square, which is this enormous square, it looks like it's a mile long, was completely empty of people. Nobody knew that we were there. So when we came out 4 hours later, there were 1 million people waiting for us. And the word had spread by word of mouth of our presence there, and the entire city had emptied out to come and greet us. They surrounded our car. My father pulled us all up on the roof of the embassy limousine, and he gave a speech, and then for over 2 hours they sang to us, still live. They sang the Polish national anthem, which at that time was a criminal act. You weren't allowed to sing it. And they sang it again and again and again to us. And I saw this electricity in the crowd with tears coming down people's faces and the love they had for the United States of America. I saw the same thing on that trip in Greece, in Italy, in France, in Germany, and Britain. Huge crowds of people coming out because they loved our country. That was good